Star Gaming back here again today. We are back here on our review for episode 706 of The Walking Dead. I actually am doing this one live for you guys. Pretty much just so you guys are aware, I am not playing the game right now. I have this in Sarah Factory, as you can see here. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But anyway, getting into this review, this was a really cool episode. I feel like it definitely wasn't one of the best episodes. I mean, it was like a really good episode. There weren't a horrible amount of flaws in my opinion. I really did like what they did with it at the end of the day. Like, but it wasn't, you know, one of the top notch episodes or whatever. So we have to keep that in mind. Now just let me start off by saying that I thought this episode was freaking awesome. Like I really did. I did like it. I know a lot of you know this by now. That I have really been wanting an episode just with Tara. I've been wanting a Tara focused episode for like a long time because she really needed some more character development. I feel like they really gave that to her in this episode. I mean, we didn't really get too much more on her personally, but like we did get to, you know, see her interact and get to see her get the spotlight for an entire episode, which is actually the first time. Every other character has kind of had their sign a little bit in the show so far, except her, in my opinion. Even Rosita recently has been getting more of it. So yeah, and you know, since the beginning, we've just been like, well, what are they doing with Tara? It just seems like she's there. The biggest moment she had was when Glenn first brought her along with her, was when all the stuff with the governor was still fresh. And then there was after that, lately when she got together with Denise. And that was about it. So it was pretty cool to actually see all this go down in this episode. Now a couple things I do want to touch on. I have to admit, I want to know, are we going to see this group again? The name of this community that she ran into was Oceanside. I want to know if we're going to see them again, because if I'm being honest, if we don't see these people again, I feel like this entire episode is going to kind of be somewhat of a waste of time. Now, in the comics later on, the characters do start fishing more, and you know, they start to get food that way. So it's possible that they could tie this into the story later on, but I'm telling you, if we don't see this community again after this, I feel like it's going to be a huge waste of time in this episode. I feel like this episode will be a huge waste of time otherwise if we don't see them play some kind of part. As we found out, they were affected by Negan the Saviors. Pretty much we found out that Negan, well, not Negan himself, but you know, some of his dudes came through. In case some of you didn't catch it, the Saviors don't know about that place they're at now. They came from the place where the Saviors were harassing them, pretty much. Like, the Saviors showed up one day, and they were kind of like Rick's group. They didn't want to comply. They fought them. They lost. The Saviors, as, what's her name said, I can't remember her name at all. But she said that they lined up every boy over the age of 10 and killed them. So they pretty much killed all the men. And that was pretty messed up. That just goes to show you how far the Saviors are willing to go. Like, they slaughtered all the men and just left the women in the community, pretty much. Like, she did say they left any boy child that was under age 10, but considering there were no boys in the episode besides Heath, like, yeah, like, that pretty much tells you they killed all the men. That's basically what I'm getting at. But yeah, like, that just goes to show you the Saviors are willing to go really far with their whole little, you know, operation to force people in doing what they want. So now, when Tara told these people about the saviors, it made things worse because, I mean, let's just backtrack because she does lie to them in the first place, and it's kind of obvious that she lies. Like, it kind of does seem obvious that she lies when she first lies about, you know, being on a boat, a fishing boat or whatever for a while and stuff. And when they sit down at that table later and discuss it, I like, when all of this is coming out, it doesn't seem that bad at the moment. I like how they did this because you were starting to think maybe these people will come around. They seem okay. They really did start to seem okay. Like, they kind of made them real. You kind of start to understand why they're doing what they're doing after they told us the story about all of the men in the village getting killed. But they didn't say that it was the saviors because they didn't know that Tara knew anything about the saviors or had anything to do with them. So, you know, they kind of left that part out. So I really liked it later on when that came full circle around. And that's why at the end of the day they decided, see, they had to kill Tara, because the reason they decided this is because, obviously, think about it. So she has her own community, a community that is probably now under the Savior's control. This group sounded like they were more aware of the Savior's numbers than anyone else. Like, they knew that that was just an outpost that Tara and them had killed and stuff. So they were like, yeah, wait a second. This chick's friends are all dead, or they're either working for the Saviors now or something. So they know that they are going, that when Tara goes back home to Alexandria, they're going to be scrambling to find supplies. If they're scrambling to find supplies and they can't find enough for the Saviors, eventually they'll come back there. Like, they know those people are there. They'll come back there, probably with more people, probably with tougher people, and they'll try to take what they have. So the people at the community, I kind of do get why they made the choice to kill Tara. At the end of the day, they just thought it was too risky, but at the same time, they're still jerks kind of for doing it, but you know what I mean. Now, let me just apologize if anybody can hear the PlayStation in the background. I know that thing is mad loud. But, anyway, moving on from that part of the episode, let's talk about this chick that just, kept saving Tara throughout the episode. What was her name? I told, God, did I forget her name? Like, I'm talking about, you know, the, black chick, the younger chick, that saved Tara like 3 times throughout this entire episode. Yeah, she pretty much did save Tara 3 times. So, yeah, like, well, actually more than 3, I think. I think you can say more than 3, because at the end with the bridge, so 4. But anyway, I admit, I was kind of wondering this whole time, like, why is this chick helping Tara? Like, what is she getting out of it? I do think that this is kind of somewhat of a flaw. I mean, she's just trying to do the right thing, that's obvious. But why so motivated to help a stranger? If you were with these people when you saw all the men get lined up and killed by another group of survivors for nothing, get shot in the back of their heads and stuff, you kind of think she would be kind of, you know, iffy about strangers too. But for reasons that they don't really explain to us, she's like okay with it. You know, like, she's not that crazy. Like, she's not really what's the word I'm looking for? She's not that suspect of Tara, or however you want to say that. She's not as cautious as it seems she should be. She's actually really uncautious. Like, she even sticks around for a while after she leaves Tara, and Tara is able to even follow her back to her base. As her grandmother was saying, When she did save Tara the first time and Tara followed her back, when she went out there, she didn't sign out or anything. So this chick is really, I don't know. I mean, I like her because she saved Tara, and that's awesome. But I'm just saying, like, it seems like the only way you can look at this on why she saved Tara is either she's just super irresponsible and like, I mean, dangerously like just oblivious or trusting, or she's just like a really good person, which I guess she could be both or the three of those, because like I said, she, even though, yeah, Tara's a good person and we love the fact that this chick helped Tara escape, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, well, if Tara was a bad person and what was going to kill all your friends, you made it really kind of freaking easy, like, at the end of the day. And on top of that, what was her reason for it? Once again, like, it seems like it's kind of weird that the rest of them, even the youngest kids, are just like so bent on killing everyone on sight after what happened, but she's not. I guess she's just got a better head on her shoulders than the rest of them. I guess you can just leave it down to that. But moving on, the stuff with Tara and Heath, I want to talk about this actually, because I love how they faked us out with this. Like, I love how they faked us out with the fact that Heath might have ditched Tara and like just abandoned her. I loved how they faked us out with that. Like, when I first saw that part where it looked like he ran and left her to die, I was like, Heath, you scumbag. Oh man, like I was salty. I was salty for Tara at that part. And at that part, you know, it kind of became obvious what happened to Tara. I haven't really talked about how I felt about how they structured the episode, you know, by showing the before and after Heath and Tara got separated. At first, I wasn't liking it. I'll say that. I didn't like it. But once it got to the end of the episode, I got to see what it was all about. I liked it. But yeah, they made us think Heath abandoned Tara. And for a while there, I was just like, wow, Heath's a scumbag. Like, and you know, they even had that whole little talk with the two of them in the truck or whatever that is, whatever kind of car they had. In the little van or whatever at the beginning, kind of having that talk about everyone's out here for himself, just to make us believe in that moment even more. And then when we finally got back there and we got to see that Heath didn't abandon Tara, he actually just went up to higher ground, used his last bullet to save her, and got surrounded by himself. Like, I thought that was really awesome to see that. I was like, wow, that's awesome that they just faked us out like that. And that just made me like Heath even more than well, really even more. Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with even more, cause I wasn't a huge Heath fan. I'm gonna be honest. He was cool, but like, if I'm being honest, he hasn't really done too much in my opinion on the show so far. But, you know, kind of be the first guy to really be useful to people out to like our group since they got to Alexandria. He was like one of the first Alexandrians to kind of step up. That was cool. But other than that, I felt like this was an awesome episode for Heath, even though he wasn't in it that much. I felt like this kind of boosted his character up a little bit too, definitely. But yeah, I love the stuff with Tara and Heath. But my only question is, where the freak is Heath? Like, I know everyone else has to be wondering this. Like, what in the world happened to this man? Like, we see when Tara gets back that there's some tire tracks in the mud there that kind of lead off. And she was like, I hope that's you. And she was saying, I hope that's Heath, obviously. And my impression is that it was him. That it also was him, because I'm thinking he came back and drove the car through the mud. Maybe came back, waited for her a while, realized this is taking too long. He's out in the open. He's running out of food and stuff. So he drove the car through the mud to leave the tracks for her, and I think that was cool. I will say this. I am kind. I was kind of shocked that they got back to Alexandria this episode. That was fast, which means Tara and Heath really weren't as far away as they were making it out the scene. Like, I don't know. I guess they technically were, because it was a time skip. It was definitely a time skip when she walked back to Alexandria. There's no way that they were that close. So that was definitely a time skip. So I'm thinking it probably took her a couple of days to walk back. Because don't forget, like, all of the stuff we've seen this season so far is, like, over the course of less than a week. Like, just keep that in mind. Like, it literally hasn't been a week yet. It was, like, because when Negan came to Alexandria for his first offering, it hadn't been a week yet. Remember, Rick said, you said we had a week when he opened the gate. So, we know it hasn't been a full week. So, all of this is taking place over a couple days. It's kind of like mirroring season 6 with the whole super herd thing. So that's really awesome to see them doing something like that, where it's kind of mirroring the past season. But yeah, like, so Tara walks back to Alexandria, and let me just say this. I don't know how I feel about her finding out Denise, Glenn, and Abraham are all dead. I mean, I don't know how I feel about her reaction to it, almost. Like, I loved what they did with Eugene at the gate, alright? I loved how he was the one that got to see her come back. She comes back and freaking just typical Tara fashion with the sunglasses and everything. She's just scrolling up to the gate, and Eugene opens the gate, and like he's getting ready to like just break down in tears because of what's happened and what he has to tell her. And you kind of see her kind of realize, oh no, what happened? Like, but I don't know. Like, it was kind of disappointing almost to me. Like, I don't know if anybody else felt this, but I felt like, it seems like, I mean, did Tara even shed a tear? Like, we obviously didn't get to see her do that, but like, I mean, like, it just seemed like her emotion, like the emotion there at the end was just kind of weaker than it should have been. Like, I mean, she's been gone for 2 weeks. Like, the last time she saw her girlfriend told her that she loved her, and she didn't say it back. And she was saying before she left on the run that as soon as she got home, she was going to tell her. Now that's not happening, and it just seems like her reaction to it was kind of weak. And like I'm not saying like the actor did a bad job. That's not what I mean by this. I'm saying more of like they just didn't play that scene out as much as I think everybody wanted them to. Everyone wanted to see how people reacted when Rick and the group came back to Alexandria. We didn't get to see that either. It just seems like they're cutting out all of these big emotional moments of people finding out that these people are dead. Like, next thing you know, they're going to do it with Morgan and Carol. Like, I mean, like, we just need to start seeing more of this AMC. Like, I feel like this is what the fans really want, and I feel like it would honestly make the scene stronger overall. Like, I know when you're doing TV shows or doing something like this, YouTube or something, like, the fans don't always know what's best. Like, because, you're the professional, you're the one that makes their entertainment and stuff, but sometimes it's not bad to listen to definitely listen up and take some of the criticism to heart, and play with some different ideas and stuff. Like, so yeah, I think it would have been cooler if we got to see Tara walk up, and you know, we got to see, I don't know, maybe Eugene Taylor and maybe her stuff. Like, just give us like one tear running down her face. Like, we didn't get to see any kind of reaction to it. Well, it seemed like we got to see the aftermath. Now,
Don't worry.
Rosita.
I'll take care of those raiders.
Rosita at the end of this episode still up to her rebellious little games. Now I want to talk more about Rosita. Now, I was kind of worried at first that Rosita was going to pull Tara into this little circle of anger she has going on with Eugene making that bullet, Spencer hating on Rick, and her just wanting to get out there and put some, just suit some people, I guess. Like, I mean, but I do like the fact that it seems like after this episode, I don't think Tara's going to follow them on this one. I think Tara is going to stick with Rick in the main group. I don't think that she's going to, you know, really get into that with them. I feel like Tara, after this episode, we really did get to see what kind of person Tara is, and I feel like that's the development we got for this episode. We always knew that she was a nice person, you know, that we always knew she likes doing the right thing, but now we know to what extent. Like, she's a really down-to-earth, honest person, like that. Not only just a nice one, you know, she keeps her promise to the chick at the end, that she's not going to tell about that community, even though there's still time to break that. But there's also still time for Rosita to pull her into this circle, and I'm gonna make a whole separate video on Rosita. Like, I really do want to, because I feel like what's going on with her is kind of interesting here. But yeah, like, anyway, that's really all we got to see from this episode. That's all the big stuff. This episode was really nice. Like I said, I really did enjoy watching it. I definitely did. Was a little bit of an extended episode. But as for a review score, I'm kind of leaning, I'm going to give this one like an 8. Yeah, I'm gonna give this an 8 because it's I do think it's like a really solid episode. I think it's one that is really good. I think obviously some people are gonna look at this. I know you're just gonna have those fans that are action junkies, and like they're gonna be like, oh, this episode was boring, we didn't get to see Rick or anybody like blow anybody's face off this episode. I mean, I thought this episode was pretty action packed. I thought it had a pretty good amount of action and story in it. But yeah, I feel like this is one of those episodes where we just can't tell how important it is and how useful this episode is until later down the line. Like I said, I do feel like they're going to reuse Oceanside. I feel like we're going to get to see that community again, or at least I hope we do. I hope they do something with them where they bring them back. They can bring them back in the fight against the Saviors. You never know. Or if they do beat the Saviors, they can come back and, you know, they can join up with the other communities, because there's going to be some stuff that comes way later down the line that's comic book spoilers. I'm not going to talk about it, but yeah guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this was kind of a long one, or a longer one. I'm not sure how long it was. I was talking really fast, but anyway, thanks so much for watching. I swear, episode 706 of The Walking Dead a 8 out of 10. Keep your eyes open for the preview. I'm going to do the preview this time. Like, I know I haven't done it for like the past 2 episodes, but don't worry, I'm doing it this time. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching guys. Hope you guys really enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that like button and really help me out, and I will see you guys on the next video. ZFR out, guys.